I'm going to try to make this real easy for everybody. Go into Walmart, go to the towing section, as well as the wiring and lighting section. For the easiest option, you're going to want to purchase the Alpina quad fire. You can use other options. This just happens to be the one that I've already used, and I know what comes with it. And you'll need this. And then you go over to the towing section. You need a 7-blade trailer connector. Sorry, it's kind of blurry. That's what you need from Walmart, and that is almost everything that you need except for some minor things to weatherproof it. I will show you some additional steps next. Okay everyone, I am back from gathering my supplies. As you see, I have a container of dielectric grease. I have the LED light that we're going to use. Again, it's an Alpina quad fire. I bought it at Walmart. Next to that is the 7-blade trailer connector that I purchased at Walmart. That's the one that I used on my last setup that I posted originally. This one I'm actually going to return back to Walmart, and I'm going to do the same with the one I had already made. I'm going to switch it over to this one, which I found. The reason I'm doing that is it's going to make weatherproofing the product a lot easier, and with the other one I would have had to have gooped up a whole bunch of silicone caulk of some sort to make it weatherproof, or potentially find some sort of rubber grommet that was the exact right size, and that was becoming more of a hassle than what I really was looking for. So we're going to use that one instead. These are just little ring terminals to put on the ends of the wires. This is not entirely necessary. The reason I'm doing this is because whenever you screw down onto the wires to hold them in place, whenever you are wiring them into the 7-blade trailer connector, it's not exactly the best fit due to the fact that the wire is such a small gauge. So I'm going to use these to make it a little bit more secure. In my opinion, it'll be better. And I want my entire system to be removable, so what I have here is a magnetic universal magnetic mount for the light, so I can put the light pretty much wherever I want to, only limited by the length of the wire and whether or not there's obviously steel available to connect it to. The other option is you can bolt it right into something, or you can try to figure something out with adhesive if you have to mount it to aluminum or wood or something. I don't know how you want to put things together, but this is how I'm going to do it because I don't want to have obnoxiously bright backup lights when I'm not actually needing them. I'll check back with you in just a little bit as I prepare the future steps. When you open the light package, there's a lot of extra plastic packaging in here as sort of an anti-theft deterrent. It also has a button connected, and there's a battery pack inside so that you can test just how bright the light is, and it's an actual 1400 lumens. Apparently the bulbs are capable of over 2000 lumens, but they run it at a smaller current through some sort of limiting device, I don't know. But anyways, it's supposed to be a true 1400 lumens, and it's extremely bright. So you'll have to open this up and disconnect the lines from the battery. I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Once you remove the light from the packaging, you'll need to cut it away from the button first of all, and that's what this loose line here is from. It's still connected to the battery pack, and this battery pack is connected to a small circuit board that's enclosed in some shrink wrap right now. So the next step is I'm going to cut it loose from in front of the circuit board here so that we'll have the wires that we need. As you can see, this light comes with a short length of wire already wrapped in a nice protective coating. It is part of the reason why I actually like this light and chose this particular variation. It happens to be long enough for my particular wants and applications. If I wanted to place the lights somewhere else, I would probably need to modify that, and it's easy enough to do, obviously, if you have any idea of how to do it. But for my purposes, I just want something simple and removable, and this is a perfect, easy shortcut for me to take advantage of. After you've disconnected the wires from the circuit board and battery that it comes with, you'll need to remove some of the rubber sheathing off of the wire so that you can work with them. Included in the packaging from the company, the manufacturer, there are weatherproof connectors on here. If you decide you'd like to just hardwire it into your system, you can absolutely use these. Again, I don't want mine to be permanent. I want it to be removable because I don't want obnoxiously bright backup lights when I'm just driving in normal everyday situations. So I'm not going to use those. I am going to use these ring connectors for my purposes, which I'll explain and show you in more detail shortly. But as you see, I have removed just a small amount of the rubber sheathing off of the wiring, and I will put the ring connectors on now and show you what that looks like. In case you have never really done any wiring before at all, once you put the ring connector on, it's going to look like this. You're going to crimp it into place. The way this works is you take the exposed wire and you feed it through a tiny hole through here, and then you crush this down so that it makes contact with all of the aluminum that's in there, and gives you a larger contact surface area, and it makes it a little bit more secure for my particular application right now. It's pretty easy to do. You just put this on, make sure that the wire comes through the hole, and then you crush it into place. Since I'm filming this myself, it's a little bit difficult for me to do with one hand, so you just have to take my word that it's very simple. So that's what we're looking for once we get the ring connectors on. The next thing we'll do is start to put them into our 7-blade trailer plug. The first thing we need to do with our trailer plug is to loosen this set screw right here. It's a Phillips screw. It's hard to see right now because of using my phone, but we need to loosen that because it holds this black piece in place. And on this particular one that I've decided to go with now, I need to loosen this up as well so that we can access the inside to run the wires. With the particular plug system that I'm using, it's weatherproof and it has this rubber grommet to keep the water out. That's why I actually chose this one. So what you need to do once you disassemble it, the first thing is to feed the wires through the rubber grommet. That was actually the most difficult thing that I've done, and it wasn't that difficult. Then after that, we will attach it to the terminals to our plug, and these are all coated on the variation from Walmart as well as the variation that I have here, which is weatherproof. You're going to be looking for the ground terminal and also the backup terminal. The backup terminal is the center terminal. Okay, if you wanted it to be on all the time when you have your lights on, if you wanted to use it for a salter maybe, then you could, instead of wiring it to the backups, you could wire it to the 12 volt or auxiliary, and that one is on here marked AX. I can't show you which one it is right at the moment because you can't see the letters, but in my instance I only want it for backup purposes currently, so this is the backup and my ground is right down here. It's marked as GD and you can't see it. No, it's just too small. Anyways, I will connect those and then check back in with you. I forgot to I forgot to mention that we need to run it through this metal housing for the plug before we connect it to the terminals. So now I will connect it to the terminals. Now that the wires are through the plug housing, I have connected them to the appropriate terminals. Again, the center terminal is the backup light, so you want to attach the red wire to the backup light terminal, and our black line is the ground, and you want to connect that to the terminal which is marked GD, and then we will close up the plug. At this time I should mention that I did put a good bit of dielectric grease onto each of these wires and the terminals that they are attached to. Now it's all in. I've tightened down the set screw to hold the front of the plug in place. So I just wanted to take a second to show you again why I chose to upgrade to this. That has this nice weatherproof rubber grommet here that is just the right size for the wire that we have. Again, that's another nice reason for using the light that I did. And also on the front of the plug face there's a rubber washer that goes the whole way around to also help keep it waterproof and weatherproof. So in my opinion it's a little more expensive this way, but it's going to be a lot more stable and reliable over time, instead of just gunking a bunch of silicone in there and hoping that it doesn't shrink up. So this will be a much longer term and not much more expensive solution. Okay, here's our finished product. It has the weatherproof plug, the 1400 lumen light. It has a magnetic mount, and the magnetic mount has a nice protective rubber coating so that you don't scratch up the metal that you're using. One of my helpers is here now. And just to show you that it works, I'm going to try to use the battery pack that came with it, which will be difficult while I'm doing it with one hand. Let's see if I can situate the camera in a way that you can see. Everything is complete, and I'm going to use the battery that came with it to just give you an idea, or show you it works and just give you an idea of how bright it is. So it's as easy as that. I will post another video later showing you what it looks like outside hooked up to the truck when it's a dark